Good morning and welcome to our Sunday Live Dharma. My name is Chris, and I've been a member of this temple for a few years. Before we start the service, I wanted to share a recent experience where I invited Reverend Won Gong into my business. I run a community of startup CEOs working on climate solutions across North America, where they get to learn from each other, partly personal growth, partly how to grow their businesses. Here are some of the insights that her talk catalyzed. Number one, we have some 80,000 thoughts per day, and she asked us to consider how many of these are we aware of? How many of these are controlling our beliefs and actions unintentionally? In fact, as we finished a little 5-minute meditation during our time together, she said, "How many thoughts did you have?" And I said, "Dozens," thinking that was a lot. And she said, "That's really great." That's at 80,000 per day. Number two, there are benefits to mindful pauses. I think many of our CEO members think that to meditate, you need to meditate hours per day. And she brought the level down. What if that was just a 3-minute pause during lunch? What if those were alarms on your phone, where you took a few deep breaths throughout your day? Number three, being mindful does not necessarily mean moving slowly. Her example was, we can be mindful of the stress in our body and mind as we run through the airport late for our flight, which for a group of CEOs was quite relieving. Number four, she brought to mind a quote that I've loved for many years: "To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders." I think partly we do that each Saturday or Sunday here. And number five, she asked us a question: if we had to pick, which kind of people do we praise or think highly of more often? Those who are brilliant intellectually, or those who are loving and kind? And why is our answer, whatever our answer to that question might be? And finally, she did not ask me to say this, but I thought I would anyway. I would invite you all to consider, how might you bring Reverend Won Gong into your business or community outside of the temple? Many of my CEOs remarked that they were surprisingly very happy that night and the following day, and they didn't know why, except for this visit with Reverend Won Gong. Today, our good friend Linda Kato is going to share her Dharma Talk and Affinity with Light. Let us start our practice by reading The Truth of Il-Won Song together, page 12. The Truth of Il-Won Song. Il-Won, one circle, is the original source of all things in the universe, the mind seal of all the Buddhists and sages, and the original nature of all sentient beings. The realm where there is no discrimination regarding great and small, being and non-being. The realm where there is no change made arising and ceasing, coming and going. The realm where wholesome and unwholesome karmic consequences have ceased. The realm where language, names, and signs are utterly void. Through the light of the void and calm, luminous awareness, the discrimination regarding great and small, being and non-being appears. Whereupon the distinction between wholesome and unwholesome karmic consequences comes into being. Language, names, and signs also become obvious, so that the triple worlds in the 10 directions appear like a jewel in hand. Thus, the creative transformations of true voidness and marvelous existence freely conceal and reveal themselves through all things in the universe, throughout vast eons without beginning. This is the truth of Il-Won Song. Now please stand up and let's join in happy relaxation movements guided by Reverend Sean and Reverend Jay.
Good morning. Morning.
Before the service, let's stretch our body first. First of all, spread our feet properly and circle our ankles and with our wrists together. And the other side, circle our ankles and wrists together. Now, turn one foot direction, lean back, and push our thighs softly. Feel behind your knees are stretched. Good. To the other side, lean back, and push your thighs. Make sure behind the knees are stretched. Good. Now, take one step forward and lower your upper body, touch your knees. Feel behind the thighs are stretched. To the other side, step forward, lower your upper body, touch your knees. Good. Now, rub your knees, make the heat. Then circle our waist softly. You don't need to hurry, just imagine make the small circle in your waist. To the other direction. Now bring your shoulders up, squeeze, release. Bring your shoulders up, squeeze, release. 2 more times. Bring your shoulders up and release. The last one, shoulders up and release. Now circle our neck slowly. To the other direction. Good. And
Some of you might have wondered, today we have 2 reverends on the altar. Maybe delightful, happy, curious, but we're gonna do some pair-up movements, stretching. If you feel like, please find a friend at the same height as you, or you can do it by yourself. So yeah, did you say hi to your friends? Friends at home, you can do it by yourself. So I'm gonna tell you the self stretching first, and then pair up movements. So first, what is it? Tell me. Oh yeah. Let's grab our one feet and pull it towards the sky up so that your front of your thighs are stretched. If there is a chair, you can lean on put one hand on the chair with the friends next to you. Let's change our feet. Release. This time, pair up with your friends. One hand on your friend's shoulder, and the other hand with the feet. Easier to balance, right? Release, change your hands and change your feet. Make sure your legs are stretched, fully stretched. Release. Thank you. This time, oh yeah, clasp your hands, push it to the sky, and lean forward, stretch your shoulders, back of your legs stretched. Hands down, bodies up. With the friends together, put your hands on your friend's shoulder and step back a little bit and push it down gently, not. Feel your shoulders stretched, arms, back of your legs stretched. Let's come up, slowly come up, and then one more time. Push it down, one more time. You can swing to the side. Hello. To the other side. Back to center and little slowly come up. Oh, feeling good. Okay. This time, let us breathe in, hands to the back, open up your heart and chest wide. Breathe out, back to center. Breathe in, hands back. You can push your chest a little bit to the front. Make sure your back and chest is stretched. Back to center. Hit the pair up with your friends, back to back. And one friend is pushing while the other is stretched like this. Oh! Don't break it. If you lower your arms a little bit, give the angle, then it'll be easier. It'll go easier. Two more times. Oh, feels so good. Okay, now back to center. This time, clasp your hands, push it to the sky, and side stretch. Oh, feels so good. Back to center, to the other side, stretch. Back to center. This time, with your friends, feet to feet. And make sure to put your feet wide enough and grab your friend's hand and the other hand. We're gonna lean to the side, outer side, and stretch, gently stretch. Back to center. One more time, breathe in and breathe out, stretch. Don't fight it. Adam and Anthony's are fighting. Back to center. Let's change your position. Feet to feet, hands to hand. And stretch. Back to center, breathe in, breathe out, stretch. Good. Now let us shake off our hands, arms, shoulders, bouncing knees, whole bodies. Shake off. Breathe out through your mouth. Let go of all the tensions if there's any left. Slowly stop. Let us breathe in, arms to the front. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Feet together. Breathe in, arms to the side. Breathe in. Palms together. Bring it forward as you breathe out. Now let's bow to the friends next to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now let's be seated and make your... You're not sitting yet, I'm sorry.
So now, let us offer 4 bows, either full bows or standing bows. Please stand behind your mat so you can use it as knee padding.
With gratitude, I bow to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the infinite source of marvelous existence. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of parents, ancestors, and everyone who has given me life and nurtured me. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of fellow beings, embracing the truth of interconnectedness. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of laws, which guides us to develop justice and freedom through Dharma and universal principles.
It is a lovely day to pause and meditate. Here in Chapel Hill, little rain dropping sound on the roof. The calm energy of rain support our practice to settle in our grounding, calm, peaceful awareness. Meditation is very simple and easy. Together we pause and simply focus on breathing. Meditation is simple. I can be aware of my body. So dear friends at home and here, gently wiggle your sitting bone, pelvic floor to make sure you are absolutely comfortable with your sitting legs. Taking time to find your most comfortable position on a mat or in a chair or bench is very essential. As you sit for a while together with us, feel free to slowly, gently stretch and reposition as needed. And as you exhale, you can also visualize releasing any tension in your body, releasing any tension from your thoughts or emotions. As you feel more relaxed, gently bring your focus to your lower abdomen. Give a gentle pressure towards your lower belly that connects with your pelvic floor. Give a little pressure towards your sitting bone, and that way you feel more connected with the earth. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. Release any tension from any part of your body. Breathe in deeply. Release any tension from your grasping thoughts or recurrent thoughts. Breathe in deeply and release any flighty worries, concerns. Breathe out, release again and again. Be aware that you are more peaceful, more relaxed mind, heart, body. Invite the light, infinite light of your true nature. The more we release, exhale, the more we release tension in our thoughts, the more light we are inviting in. Namu Amitabbur. Namu Amitabbur. 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 Namu Amitabbur. May I take refuge to the infinite light of my true nature. Breathe in, breathe, release. 184. 영비 아심정 만사여에 아심통 천지여와 동일체 아여 천지 동심정 영주 천지영기야 심정 만사여외야 심정 천지여와 동일체하여 천지영심정 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 천지영기야 심정 만사여외야 심정 천지여와 동일체하여 천지영심정. Prayer for world peace. Grace of heaven and earth, grace of parents,
grace of fellow beings, grace of laws. O Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, may we take refuge in Dharma and be filled with compassion and wisdom. May we transform delusion into wisdom, greed into generosity, resentment into gratitude, discord into harmony, and hatred into compassion. May all nations grow and benefit mutually. May the strong help the weak, and may the weak learn and evolve according to Dharma. May all those who have died from world conflicts and disasters be delivered from all obstacles and be at rest. May there be peace throughout the world, and may all beings enjoy tranquility and happiness, living in their original true nature. This we pray with our whole hearts. sincerely and truly, where my hands touch the world, where my feet walk on the earth, where my voice echoes through the hills, and in all realms where my heart and mind reach, that we all together share a true affinity for attaining great enlightenment and for helping all living beings.
Sutra chanting practice. Please join us chanting page 10, Heart Sutra.
Heart Sutra.
The Bodhisattva of great compassion and deeply practicing Prajnaparamita realized that all five aggregates are empty and thus became free from all suffering and distress. Shariputra form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is formless. Same is true of sensations, perceptions, impulses, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease in emptiness. No form, no sensations, no perceptions, no impulses, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eye, nose, tongue, body, or mind consciousness, no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of death, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, with nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva relies on Prajnaparamita, therefore the mind has no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no physics is free from illusion. One dwells in nirvana. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future rely on Prajnaparamita and attain supreme enlightenment. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the great mantra, is the great enlightening mantra, is the unsurpassed and unequaled mantra, which is able to eliminate all suffering. This is true, not false, so proclaim the Prajnaparamita mantra, which says gone, gone, gone beyond, far beyond, now awaken, gate, 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 spontaneous, just as it is, viewed as impermanence, till one unfolds into infinite worlds through the cycle of formation, duration, decay, and extinction of the universe, and the birth, aging, illness, and death of all beings, according to how we use our minds and bodies in the four forms of birth, we transform through the six realms of existence, progressing or regressing with grace arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore, we all awakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after you, one Sangha, Dharma, Kaya, Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies deeply, knowing human affairs and universal principles thoroughly, and using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, and receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain the great empowerment of the one and become one with the nature of who we are.
This morning, our good temple friend, Linda Kato, will share her Dharma talk and affinity with light. Let's practice deep listening as we welcome Linda.
Something I love most about this season are the beautiful lights everywhere. On my early evening walks, I always take time to appreciate the lights that people have so generously hung. Joyful and quiet stars come to earth, illuminating the long nights. Perhaps because of my artist nature, I have been fascinated with light since I was very young. In fact, my earliest memory is of peering through the bars of a crib, sunlight passing through a lush tree outside the window, delicate patterns of light and shadow dancing on a pale green brocade chair. This captivation with light ultimately led me to leave the New York City area where I grew up and to move to the desert Southwest to study art. I remained in the desert for many years. There was a time in my life not too long ago where many external conditions, mental formations, and a distinct lack of skillfulness on my part came together like a great storm, leaving me in a bleak and unrecognizable landscape. I am sure I am not the only one here who has spent time in such a place. Overwhelmed with exhaustion and surrounded by heavy shadow, it seemed I would never find my way out. One day during this time, I came across a new word, Zofishan. Zofishan is a hybrid word rooted in two languages, Arabic and Farsi. In a technical translation, Zofishan means light spreader. But as is the case with so many words, the deeper and more nuanced meaning is not easily translated. As it was explained to me, Zofishan, in its greater sense, implies an active state of being, radiance, with a particular quality of light that, when shared out into the world, amplifies the light of others. This word sparked something inside me, and I found myself thinking about it over and over. It inspired in me the thought that perhaps an intentional investigation of light might help me find a way out of my dismal situation. At this point, this was as good an idea as any, and the only one I had, so why not? But how to proceed? How would I possibly connect with any concept of light while standing in this place that felt like a very long and cold night? Could I possibly be successful? Putting my questions aside, I decided to begin this investigation by making a list, noting down everywhere I observed light. Desert sunrise and sunset, moonlight on water or snow, shooting stars, glowing fungi, algae, and jellyfish, minerals that phosphoresce, aurora borealis, fireflies. Next, I implemented a daily walking routine. On these walks, I collected things that I found on the desert floor: mesquite pods, dried cactus flowers, feathers, and tiny bones, remnants of desert creatures, baked white in the sun. Back in my studio with my collections, I began to draw and draw and draw. Highly detailed, almost scientific pencil renderings of the collected objects, outlining each drawing in iridescent gold ink. An attempt to render radiance or halos. I spent hours imagining those inanimate objects as sources of pure light. Soon I began filling large canvases with these images outlined in gold as part of my continued effort. The next several months brought many unexpected changes, a move from the vast landscapes of the desert to verdant North Carolina, a new teaching position, a pandemic, and a few other plot twists more typical to daily life. Through all of this, I continued with my project, list making, observing, walking, and creating those images, outlining them in gold. But in spite of my persistence and determination, the understanding I was seeking felt more elusive than ever. One day, about 10 months ago, through the grace of all things, I found myself at this temple. I remember clearly the moment when I stepped through the doors and into the Dharma hall. There was the Ilwan Sang, the golden, radiant circle, illuminating the entire space, welcoming me. I think I'm in the right place, I said to myself. Put this circle on the list. The moment felt significant. A few minutes into the surface, we began chanting meditation. Namu Amitabha. May I take refuge in the infinite light of my true nature. The infinite light of my true nature. Chanting these words over and over, I had a deep realization. Until this moment, I had only been observing light outside of myself, not once considering the possibility of an infinite light that I might carry within, a light that is my true nature. And so I turned my reflection inward. With tiny and tentative steps, I implemented a regular meditation practice. Sitting in quiet stillness, my mind gradually felt more spacious. One day, Reverend Won Gong shared some words from Master Sotaesan which deeply resonated with me. In the scripture of the Founding Master, Chapter 7, The Principle of Nature, Master Sotaesan wrote, "When the moon rises while a fresh breeze blows, the myriad forms become naturally clear." On the surface, these words seem to offer a formula of sorts. Truth plus practice equals understanding? Maybe. I came to an even deeper consideration of these words after reading this passage from The Truth of Ilwan Sang. Through the light of the void and calm, numinous awareness, the discrimination regarding great and small, being and non-being, appears. The light of the void, the moon rising, the calm, numinous awareness, the fresh breeze blowing. These phrases mirrored each other. By considering these passages through the lens of my new perspective on light, inner light, I understood them to mean that clarity was possible through practice guided by light. Over the subsequent days and weeks, the more time I spent in meditation, the more questions arose. Being as there were too many questions to hold at once, I planted them like seeds, trusting that they would sprout when the conditions were right. Some questions persisted, though. How would I ever comprehend the truth of Ilwan? And what were my first steps towards comprehension? I found some guidance in the words of the founding master in Doctrine, verse 6. That circular image is a model for teaching the true Ilwan. It is like pointing at the moon with your finger. Your finger is not the real moon. In the same way, a practitioner must discover the true Ilwan through the model of Ilwan song. Guard Ilwan's true nature and practice Ilwan's perfect mind. Then the truth of Ilwan song and our lives will mesh perfectly. Reflecting on this passage and thinking back to my first encounter with the Ilwan song, I became aware that the key to understanding the truth of Ilwan would be through contemplation of the one circle image, and that the answer to my question was already apparent. I had actually taken my first steps towards understanding many years ago as a toddler with an affinity for light, mesmerized by the rays of sun pouring through a window. I now understood that throughout all the circumstances of life, light had always been the constant, even in the darkest times, guiding me to this moment that was more about returning than arriving, and that the wisdom moon, the Buddha moon, the original light of our true nature, had indeed always been there, shining and leading me on. My heart is filled with immense gratitude for all the myriad conditions, the grace that has brought me here, as well as for all of you who make up this Sangha, generously sharing with me your light, your Zofishan, so that mine may grow stronger and brighter. As a token of this gratitude, I would like to offer you a small gift, a reading of a poem by the theologian John O'Donohue. And because I'm a teacher, I'm going to give you a second vocabulary word. Currach is a Gaelic word for a boat that is made out of canvas. It's a very ancient boat. Blessing. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays at the currach of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. And may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you so much, Linda. I'm a desert girl too, and I remember the lights of the stars on the night sky. Thank you for teaching us to notice what is calling to us and to put our doubts aside and actually make that first step, make an effort. Now is the time for folks who are at home to share your reflections in the chat, or just simply sit and think about the words from Linda today. And folks here, pair up and share with someone next to you your thoughts about what Linda has told us today.
Thank you for your delightful Dharma conversation, sharing your reflections and thoughts. Do you know there are so many students or student reverends want to visit our temple, and Reverend Haebong is one of the student reverend. She needs to study one more year, then she'll be fully ordained. And here is a question: what's the most charming point of North Carolina temple? That's you. Please welcome Reverend Haebong as she shares her story of journey what brought her here today.
Hello everyone. My name is Haebong, Heybong, so Haebong. And I am a student at the Won Buddhism Graduate School located in Iksan, Korea. I will be here in North Carolina for a month as an intern, Reverend, like Reverend Won just mentioned. It is an honor to be here sitting in front of you to share my story of how I decided to walk this path of going beyond. Growing up as a child, I had constantly questioned about my identity. I was born in Seoul, but was raised in 3 different countries. I spent most of my childhood here in the United States, and spent my teenage years in Korea and Vietnam. I went to 6 different schools from K through 12th grade, and each of these schools had a completely different atmosphere. The language was different, the culture was different, and the people were from different backgrounds. I was 2 years old when my family and I moved to Illinois from Seoul. I spoke Korean and ate Korean food at home, but I had no memory of my home country. Could I say I was American? Well, no, because my mother tongue is Korean. I look like a Korean, and also my nationality is Korea. My family and I moved back to Korea when I was 10. I was the new kid from America, hence the center of attention. Traveling abroad was not yet common in 2000. Back then, America was a country that people admired and wished to visit one day. Although I was with people who looked like me, I still didn't feel like I was entirely fitting in. There was an invisible wall that was quite impossible to break. Then my father had been transferred to Vietnam for work around the time I started high school. I went to an international school where literally everyone was from different parts of the world. The first day of school was quite shocking to me. People were speaking English, but I had no idea what they were saying. At that time, I was only aware of English with an American accent. There at the international school, there were all kinds of accents, from really strong Australian, Aussie accent to Singlish. Even though the school was a mix of various cultures, I still had a hard time blending in. It was when I went on to university that I finally found somewhere I felt belong. Guess where it was? Yes, it was the Won Buddhist community. I come from a very faithful Won Buddhist family, so my mother suggested me to go to this retreat for university freshman students organized by the Won Buddhist University Students Association. I was quite reluctant to go at first, but the people I met there were the nicest people, and it was an inclusive environment which made me feel like I belonged. So I spent my entire college life actively involved in Won Buddhism activities. These activities had brought significant changes in life, and personality-wise, I became more outgoing. I made many lifelong friends, and most importantly, I became a leader. Therefore, I am forever grateful to Won Buddhism. I started to work at a Tier 1 of Hyundai and Kia Motors after graduating from college. I was in the HR team doing payrolls and administrative work, and also a personal assistant to the chair. Overloaded with work all the time, I had to work very long hours, long as 14 to 16 hours a day. I had no personal life on weekends. My routine was work, home, bed. I was always sleep deprived, so I slept till late afternoons on Saturdays, making up for lost sleep. I went to work because I woke up every day. I felt like a zombie forced to go to work. After working for 4 years, I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't see a future in this company, so I set my 2019 New Year's resolution to quit my job. I was desperate at the time, so I prayed to the Dharma Buddha of Fourfold Grace that I would do whatever it tells me to do. Whether to stick with a job or move to a different job or become a reverend. And the result was, well, Here I am. I found that true happiness does not come from materialistic prosperity, but from freedom of the mind. I also realized that I've always wanted to do something greater in life, to live a meaningful life. I hope to make this world a better place for everyone, a place where every living thing is treated as equal, and to spread happiness to this world. I like to add a spoonful of sugar in everyone's life, and I hope that you will be a part of it too. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Reverend Hae Bong, and welcome to North Carolina. We're so glad that you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
And thank you all for practicing with us today. My name is Zoe, and I've been practicing here for about 3 years. Next Sunday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, children ages 6 and older are welcome to join their families here in the Dharma Hall for holiday meditation. The practice theme will be Peace on Earth. December is a month of many beautiful opportunities for our Chapel Hill rally and online Sangha. This Thursday, on December 21st, we will meet for our winter solstice retreat via Zoom. On the last day of the year, December 31st, we will have our annual Letting Go service and ceremony. Please sign up in advance. Looking ahead to the new year, in January, we will hold 2 in-person retreats. The Young Adult Retreat on January 13th and our MLK Day Retreat on January 15th. Reverend Won Gong's wonderful 10-week Turtle Chart Dharma course will be offered via Zoom on Wednesday nights, beginning on January 10th. Please check our website for more information. If you're on the community email group, you will receive updates about all of these upcoming programs. And guess what? We're about to reach 2,500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Yay! We just need 41 more friends to meet this goal. When you explore our channel, Heart of Practice, you will find our December prayer, healing chant videos, and many enlightening Dharma talks. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so now. In-person friends, please use this QR code, which you can find in the foyer. Many thanks for your subscription support, and many thanks to our stream team. We really appreciate your kind donations. They make all of our programming and outreach possible. There's an offering table in our foyer, and you're welcome to donate through Venmo. Now, let us bless each other with our morning prayer song on page 13.
Today, full of health and with peace of mind, may I walk along
Turn around, look at the Mr. Sony, wave the hands. Nice to have you. Thank you.